Test, 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 test. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. Just making sure the mic is working. Coming up. Now we have the under-19 men getting on the fence for their Omnium Scratch Race, the first event of 4 for the Omnium. 30 laps. These riders have 7.5 kilometres their race length, so also pretty short. Noel and up the front on the fence. Hayden van der Ploeg at the front on the sprinters in the sprinters lane. And the whistle goes. Blannon in front, leading the riders around, and now down the back straight. Still in. The gun goes now, and our race is on. That looks like down the front straight, Morrison leading them around. Morrison swinging up, Gallagher swinging up. Look over the shoulder from a rider that might be Alex Eves. Round the bend and down the front straight we come. It's Noah Blannon, Hayden van der Ploeg, Marshall Irwood now. And behind Irwood, we're getting a bit of a surge from Lucas Bimmy, and he's pulling Tom Kerr away with him. Down the front straight, Luke Richard going with the move, and we've got a little bit of a break. Morrison at the front of the peloton to chase. Gallagher doesn't want to chase as he comes through, nor does Oliver. So Eves is going to try to bridge, and our break set up. 26 to go, and Norwell swings up. Jameson now leading them around and down the back straight. Eves keeping the pace high as he leads down the front straight. Bimmy now. And a bit of a gap, James Gardner off the back there with Davidson. Those riders having put in an astounding effort yesterday in the Madison, probably pretty tired. 24 laps to go. And through up the inside is Bernard Pawson. Now Alex Eves taking the front, putting in another surge as we come down the front straight. He moves up, short turn from Bimmy behind, leaves Noah Blannon in front. Now Hayden van der Ploeg, now Marshall Irwood with Wolf Penne right on his wheel. Bit of a hole opening up, but that starts to close as van der Ploeg takes the lead again. Morrison follows his wheel up. Now it's Kerr who leads down the front straight to get 22 to go. Everyone's still together. No major moves as of yet. We've had a few small cracks at a breakaway, but none that have resulted really in anything meaningful. A bit of a surge from Alex Eves again. We round the bend, a flick of the elbow from Penne. Down the back straight, Irwood looking over his shoulder before he moves up to the fence. Blannon now swinging up, Gardner swinging up. 20 laps to go, Jameson, Morrison. Kerr now in the lead. Gallagher now leading around. Now it's Richard. 19 to go. Looks over his shoulder, flicks his elbow, flick of the elbow as well from Oliver. Davidson, Eves, Bimmy, and down the front straight, short turn from Wolf Penny leaves Noah Blannon in front. Everyone looking pretty comfortable at the moment, just another little surge there, stretching them out. Morrison leading down the front straight, 17 to go, look over the shoulder and a flick of the elbow from one of the Waikato riders. Around the bend and down the front straight we go. 16 laps remaining, Irwood swings up. And everyone's starting to slow down a bit as they round the bend now. Look over the shoulder goes Morrison. And Bernard Pawson is going to have a crack. Hayden van der Ploeg following the wheel. Luke Richard swinging up and letting Alex Eves do the chase. Around the bend and down the front straight we come. 14 laps remaining. Out of the bend and down the back straight. Bimmy keeping the pace high. Now Penne. Now Van der Ploeg. Kane Foster comes out. Tom Kerr takes the front. Short turn from the rider behind him leaves Marshall Irwood. Irwood looking across the track there. Gallagher now swings up. Morrison, Blannon, Richard, Eves, Oliver, Van der Ploeg. We start to make our way around the bend and down the front straight. Noah Blannon swings up. 11 to go. Look over the shoulder for Tom Kerr before he makes his way up to the top of the track. Down the back straight we go now. James Gardner pulling quite a few riders up with him as he swings up. Luke Richard now moving up. Alex Eves doing the same. Noah Blannon, Hayden van der Ploeg. Around the bend. Now Gallagher. Bit of a kick from Jameson, nothing really major, just trying to keep the pace high maybe. Although as Irwood comes through, he might be pushing on, seeing the gap that's opened up behind him. Now around the bend and down the front straight. 8 to go. Down the back straight now, looks like Pawson maybe looking over his shoulder, or Bimmy. Around the bend goes James Gallagher up the inside. We're going to get 7 to go. And the group is starting to thin out again as they look for a wheel. Jameson, Morrison, Penne. Rounding the bend and down the front straight. 6 to go. And Noah Blannon has a crack. There was a bit of a move to chase by Morrison, but he hasn't really committed. Now he's at the front of the peloton trying to chase the gap down to Noah Blannon that's opened up to about 40 metres, maybe 30. out of the bend, down the back straight now. Blannon looking over his shoulder, keeping an eye on the gap to the riders behind, and it's opened up to about a quarter of a lap. Luke Richard taking the front as Alex Eves swings up. Out of the seat goes Kane Foster to up the pace of the chase again. Down the back straight is Jameson leading. The gap still out to about a quarter of a lap. Down the front straight we go. 3 laps remaining. Down the front straight now, Bernard Pawson in front. Now Hayden van der Ploeg, the gap continuing to open, though not because of a lack of cohesion from the peloton, just a lot of pace from the Queenslander. 2 laps to go now. 2 to go for the peloton. Kane Foster in front. They're starting to slow down and look amongst themselves for work. Bimmy over the top of Foster. As Blannon rounds the bend, he comes down the front straight and will collect the bell. Down the front straight now comes Austin Norwell with a good amount of speed down the back straight. Blannon now with his lead, slowing, closing a lot. Over the top goes Norwell, over the top goes Jameson. Irwood gets there for 3rd. I'm not sure if Noah will hold on to 4th either. It was pretty close between him and Gallagher. And kicking off the elite men's time trial, which is up next, we have Duncan Allen for Australia. Strong start by Duncan Allen. He now makes his way around the bend and into the back straight, the first rider in our elite men's time trial qualifying. Rounding the bend and coming down the front straight, 3 laps to go now. 19.946 seconds the time after lap 1. He now makes his way down the back straight and now rounds the bend. He's going to come down the front straight to reach his halfway mark. 2 to go. 34.361 at the halfway mark. Allen heading down the back straight now for the penultimate time. You can see him just starting to hurt a bit more. He comes down the front straight to collect the bell and you can see him hang his head. 1 lap to go, 49.240 seconds. Now half a lap remaining for the Australian, and you can really see him in quite a bit of pain as he comes down the front straight towards the line. He'll set a time of 105.153 seconds to beat. Taryn Cook on the front straight and Alex Schaffer on the back straight. Around the bend and down the opposite straights they go, and it's Schaffer with the better start over Cook in the first half lap. Down their respective straights they come now to get 3 laps to go, and Schaffer splits second. Cook splits third, but now both riders starting to settle into their bars and trying to hold on to the speed that they've set themselves out to do. Cook moving himself up into second, 36.103, his time at the halfway mark. Now down the opposite straights they go. Rounding the bend and coming down the front straight goes Taryn Cook to collect the bell. Schaffer collects the bell as well on the back straight. Neither rider moving up into first as of yet. Half a lap remaining to do so though. You can see Cook's head bob up and down as he rounds the bend and come down the front straight to post a time of 105.703. Alex Schaffer 107.504. Just Leo Zimmerman taken to the track now, Blake Long having scratched. Around the bend and down the front straight he comes. Zimmerman still accelerating, now sits down in the seat and tucks into his bars. Splitting second after lap 1, 20.921 seconds the time after the first quarter. Now rounding the bend, Zimmerman is going to make his way down the back straight and hold on to second place, 35.289 at the halfway mark. Just 2 laps remaining for the Australian as he makes his way around the bend and now down the back straight to get the bell. He moves himself up into first, 49.669 seconds. The time at 1 to go. He's got half a lap now remaining. As he makes his way around the bend, he's going to come towards the line and set a time of 104.509, the new fastest time so far by over half a second. So very good effort by Zimmerman there. Graham Frizzley taking the back straight there. And coming onto the front straight, that looks like Dylan Ether. Oh, looks like Ether maybe tried to get out a bit early. Both riders now rounding the bend and down the opposite straights. Very, very close together after the first half lap. They now start to sit down and settle in. Ether splitting first, Frizzley splitting second. Both of them riding with quite a great amount of speed, and Ether just ahead of Frizzley after the next half lap around the bend and down the front straight. He comes to get 2 laps to go, still holding on to first. Frizzley still holding on to second. Down the opposite straights now, and you can see Ether really starting to fatigue a bit more quickly than he would probably have liked. He's hanging his head and coming down the front straight and collects the bell. Frizzly well ahead of Ether now by over half a second, moving himself up into first. Down the back straight he goes, half a lap to go for Graham Frizzly, half a lap to go for Dylan Ether, and his cadence has dropped quite a substantial amount. Frizzly posts the new fastest time, 102.777, and Ether slips into fourth. That looks like Sam Gallagher on the back straight and possibly Nick Kyrgyzou on the back straight and Sam Gallagher on the front straight. Pretty good start on the front straight. Looks like Kyrgyzou might have pulled a wheel. Gallagher pushing on. Looks like he'll be allowed to do that. Splitting first, 19.371, the time after lap one for Gallagher. Down the back straight he goes now. Around the bend and down the front straight now. 2 laps to go. 32.972 seconds at the halfway mark, heading down the back straight. He now rounds the bend and comes down the front straight to collect the bell. Holding on to first place, 47.212. And now he's really starting to hurt though. You can see his cadence has dropped quite a bit as he rounds the bend. He's going to come down the front straight and try to hold on to that place. .102.855, the unofficial time in the end. I've just been asked not to say the splits. It might be that we need to get the times officially confirmed. So maybe just look at the times with a bit of caution at the moment. Taking the track now, we have Kyle Aitken and Byron Davies on the track now. Pretty good starts there from both riders. Looked like Davies might have had a little bit of a trouble coming down the front straight. It is Aitken, I think, with the slightly better start. And after the first lap, it's Davies possibly just ahead of Aitken, closing that back down. The Australian champion making his way now around the bend and down the back straight with a good gap to Aitken. Down the front straight he comes. Down the back straight goes Aitken, still quite a bit behind. But now comes the tough part as the bell rings for Davies. The bell rings for Aitken as well. Holding on to that pace in the last lap is absolutely agonizing, but he's got half a lap to go and he's looking still pretty strong down the back straight now towards the line. Aitken towards the line as well. You can hear the effort that Matthew Glates is putting out as he came out of the gate there from the commentary box. Half a lap down and he's up on his opponent Jade Madden. As Madden makes his way down the back straight, he starts to settle into his bars. Glates are ahead of Madden after the first lap. Looking strong, Madden looking quick too. As Glates rounds the bend and comes down the front straight, he'll get 2 to go, halfway for Madden as well. And down the back straight now goes Glates. Down the front straight comes Madden. The gap to his opponent currently growing still as the bell rings for Glates. He rounds the bend. The bell now rings for Madden as well. Down the back straight goes Glates. Half a lap to go for him. Half a lap to go now for Madden as well as he comes down the front straight towards the line. Glates are looking pretty quick there. We'll wait to see what the official time is from the commissaires. But so 59.536 the time in the end for Glates. First rider to go under a minute in this competition so far. Strong start by Cornish there. Around the bend and coming down the front straight is Luke Blackwood for New Zealand. Just a little bit down on Cornish after the first half lap. Cornish now getting 3 to go. Still only now as he goes down the back straight, getting into his bars. Blackwood down the back straight to get 2 to go. Cornish with 2 to go as well. Down the back straight goes Cornish. Down the front straight comes Blackwood. Cornish with a very good gap over his opponent. And now the bell rings for the Australian. The bell rings for the New Zealander as well. Half a lap to go for Cornish. Half a lap to go now for Blackwood. And you can see how much Blackwood is starting to hurt. He might have gone out a bit too hard. His cadence has dropped quite a lot. Down the back straight he goes, hanging his head. One minute, 0.12 seconds, the time for Cornish. 104.311, the time for Blackwood. And Nick Kirkazoo is going to take the track to have another go, having pulled his wheel before. Around the bend and down the front straight comes Kirkazoo. Half a lap down, he's looking very strong as he now rounds the bend and goes down the front straight, still accelerating furiously. He now sits in to his bars and makes his way down the front straight again. 1.5 laps down to go, and he'll get 2 to go as he comes down the back straight. Halfway through, 33.654. Looking strong now as he makes his way around the bend and down the back straight to get the bell. Just 1 lap remaining for Kirkazoo, and this is where he's going to hurt the most. You can see his head movements as he gets half a lap to go, fighting very hard to keep his cadence high. Down the back straight and towards the line, he'll set a time of 1 minute and 2.057 seconds. Leo Zimmerman there with a sub 50. I'm not sure, we'll wait for that to get confirmed, but it might be a world record. Sorry? Oh, is it? Oh. Poor bugger. Okay, the under 19 women coming onto the track now for their Omnium Tempo race. Laps, the number of laps that these girls have to ride. The first 5 will be without points being awarded. For those of you tuning in for the first time on our last day, tempo race is where the front rider gets 1 point every single lap. Gun goes. You gain 10 points for gaining a lap, lose 10 for losing a lap. Around the bend and down the front straight they come. Coming down the front straight, look over the shoulder as Georgia Simpson swings up. Felicity Wilson-Haffenden coming through, pulling Molly Hayes up the track with her. Eliza Carnes now leading. Look over the shoulder from Carter as she swings up. Simpson coming through up the inside. Now Wilson-Haffenden again. Belinda Bailey moving up the track now. Up the inside there going Megan Baker. Kira Will now. The bell rings. That means the start of our points, and over the top goes Molly Hayes. Molly Hayes, if I remember correctly, did a pretty good points race in last year's Oceanias. 15 to go. Tempo race, sorry, not points race. Down the front straight we come. Kira Will get the second point of the race. Maybe not, it was very close on the line. Baker getting pretty close. I do think Will held on. It is Kira Will who gets the next point. And Will keeping the pressure on at the front as we come down the front straight to get 13 to go. Will get a second point. Wilson-Haffenden had a look up around the outside, and it looks like that look was so she could put in a move over the top down the back straight. Baker slipping back. And we come down the front straight, a look over the shoulder. And Wilson-Haffenden will take a point for herself. Kira Will still in front again. Eliza Carnes moving up there. She's in a bit of a box. As we come down the front straight, Georgia Simpson has another go. And Simpson puts the pressure on, really stringing this group out as we come down the back straight. Wilson on the front, keeping a look over her shoulder now. Wilson-Haffenden trying to come forwards, but Simpson will take it. Close call there. We round the bend, go down the back straight. It's Sally Carter now putting on the pressure in front and just pulling away. Wilson-Haffenden swinging out, leaving Georgia Simpson to close the gap that's now opened up in the favour of the Australians. Simpson swings up almost into Lilith Jones, and Jones now has a bit of work to do to get herself back to the front. Sally Carter will get herself a second point. 8 to go. And Amy Masters there chasing at the front of the group. Carter satisfied with the points she's got now, making her way back to the group, making their way around the bend. We have Lilith Jones and Amy Masters. Jones over the top of Masters. We get 7 to go. And Jones starting to pull away. Masters trying to chase, but the gap just opening up. Belinda Bailey starting to close that gap to Masters as we round the bend and come down the front straight. 6 laps remaining. Look over the shoulder for Jones. Don't have any riders over 2 points at the moment. There's a 4-way tie for first. Lilith Jones now might be able to put herself into the lead of the race as she comes down the front straight. Kira Will looking to close that gap, probably get herself a few more points as well, as Eliza Carnes takes the lead. Lilith Jones now waiting for the peloton to catch her. I think she could have held on for another point. It looks like she might actually. She rounds the bend and comes down the front straight. Elena Worrell makes the bridge, and Amy Masters now leads the peloton around and down the back straight. Masters now pushing on, getting a gap on the riders behind. 3 to go. Elena Worrell trying to bridge, doing so successfully. We come down the front straight, and it's close on the line, but it looks like Masters will hold on. And over the top goes Belinda Bailey. Lilith Jones has dropped off. And the gap opening up between her and the peloton. Bailey coming down the front straight. She'll get herself the next point as the bell rings. And Lilith Jones wins herself the Omnium Tempo race. Will come around and down the front straight. Bailey will get herself a second point. Kira Will on 2 points will place herself in third, coming across the line after Bailey. And up next we have the Under-19 men's Omnium Tempo race. Sorry? Yeah, yeah.
What camera's that one? That one right there?
Yeah, that one there. There's another one over there as well. Yeah. We also have a little GoPro sitting there. whistle goes. And Jameson leads us. Now Blannon. Bit of scrambling still at the back, looking to take a wheel. Gardner moving up around about the middle. And now the gun goes to start us off. Irwood starts to move up the track. Richard up the inside. Now Penne. Davidson with a kick. Very early on, he's starting to pull away, and there's only one rider looking to chase, and that rider is Bernard Pawson. Down the back straight, Wolf Penne following the wheel of Pawson. Gardner at the head of the peloton. Gardner swings up, Gallagher swings up. Oliver looks over his shoulder, and Irwood leads the chase. Meanwhile, down the back straight, Penne leading, and that gap's starting to close as Kerr takes the lead. 27 laps remaining. Kerr looks over his shoulder, and Morrison will go through to replace him. Davidson swings up. He's going to wait for the peloton to catch by the looks of it, maybe filling that hole, but no longer committing to a breakaway move. Bernard Pawson in front as the bell rings. Look over the shoulder and a swing up the track for Pawson. Penne following. Davidson is going to lead. Around the bend goes Davidson. Morrison now going to try to come over the top, take the first point, and it will go to Morrison. Davidson in front. Over the top of Davidson goes a rider that might be Austin Norwell. And it is Norwell. He'll get himself the next point. Down the back straight we go now. Davidson still slipping to the back, struggling to find a wheel. We come down the front straight, and Norwell will hold on for a second point as Kane Foster tries to come forwards around him. James Gardner making his way over the top and down the back straight. Around the bend and down the front straight. 22 to go. Very close on the line. I think it might have been Foster that got that, but we'll wait to see what the comms say. It is Kane Foster who gets the next point. James Gardner now making his way around and down the front straight. Jameson coming forwards. Look over the shoulder as Jameson takes the point. He'll swing up. And we round the bend and go down the back straight. Austin Norwell currently in the lead in the points. A three-way tie for second between Morrison, Foster and Jameson. It'll become a four-way tie now as Gallagher takes a point. And over the top go both Morrison and Blannon. Blannon coming ahead. Blannon will get a point for himself. 19 to go, and Blannon keeping the pace high. Gardner starting to slip to the back. A few riders stuck behind him, maybe looking to get him to chase. They know how strong he is. He's really shown himself to be quite a powerful rider over the past few days. 18 to go. Now we have a split in our group. Blannon making his way onto the wheel of Kerr as Morrison takes the lead of this little front group. Alex Eves putting in an effort to take a point for himself. 17 laps to go. Eves settles into his bars and rounds the bend. He's got a good gap to the riders behind. Marshall Irwood flicks his elbow, and Oliver will also move up, just looking over his shoulder, and up the inside goes one of his compatriots. That might be Lucas Bimmy. It is. 16 to go. Alex Eves getting himself another point and moving himself up into first. Round the bend and down the front straight we come, and Eves will put himself into first on his own as Morrison swings up. Irwood comes through. 15 laps remaining. Now Luke Richard leads the chase for the peloton. Alex Eves, meanwhile, looking pretty strong on his own, and he's got a good gap to the riders behind. Coming down the front straight, he'll get 14 to go and get himself a fourth point. Down the back straight go the riders. Morrison at the head of the peloton with another bit of a split. Again, a lot of riders focusing on James Gardner and allowing a hole to open in the peloton. 13 laps remaining. Around the bend and down the back straight. Alex Eves still with a very big gap to the riders behind, coming closer to half a lap, the gap. And just 12 laps remaining. Eves will come around and get the points for 11 to go. Luke Richard now at the head of the peloton, out of the seat to respond to a move by Gardner coming. Gallagher has been glued to his wheel for the majority of the race. Richard around the corner, trying to keep the pace high, maybe take the wheel of Gallagher as he comes over the top of him. And he does take it, trying to defend against Jameson. Jameson starts to slip back, and Richard takes the lead around the bend and down the front straight. He swings up, Morrison flicks his elbow. Eves will take another point, and now he'll wait for the bunch to catch. 9 points and 9 laps to go, so very unlikely that someone else will take the lead from Alex Eves. All Eves has to do really is stay with the peloton and hope no one takes a lap. 18.8 to go. Irwood with quite a gap around the bend and down the front straight. Irwood will take a point for himself. Kerr trying to follow as Pawson makes his way to rejoin the peloton. Down the back straight, Oliver leading the chase. Now Blannon will come through, probably put in a bit of a kick. And there it comes. He pulls a short turn, makes his way back into the peloton. Hayden van der Ploeg moves up, and we're starting to lose a bit of the cohesion here. As we come down the back straight, Marshall Irwood is in front of Tom Kerr. Kerr now starts to try to come forward over the top of Irwood. He'll get a point for himself as we get 5 to go. Down the back straight, Van der Ploeg in front, leading the chase. Jameson on his wheel. 4 laps remaining. Tom Kerr coming through as Marshall Irwood swings up. Hayden van der Ploeg in front of the peloton. Gardner comes out, opens up a bit of a hole that Kane Foster has to close. 3 to go. Blannon swings up. Morrison comes through. Down the back straight now. Blannon with another kick. Starts to pull away from those riders. 2 to go for our leaders. Irwood getting another point for himself. And a kick from Gallagher as Gallagher starts to pull away. Down the back straight go the peloton. Around the bend and down the front straight come our leaders. A fight for the next point as the bell rings. Kerr will get the second last point. Gallagher fighting hard to close the gap to these riders ahead. Irwood now trying to come forwards over the top of Kerr. Kerr fighting him off. Down the front straight, Marshall Irwood comes over the top and gets himself the final point of the race. And we go next to our elite under 19 women's, Kieran Heats. gun goes, and Tatarinov is going to lead the riders onto the wheel of the bike. On the wheel of Tatarinov is Caitlin Green, followed by, Caitlin Kelly, followed by Elizabeth Green, followed by Belinda Bailey. Top three in this race will make their way through to the final. The rider coming in fourth will be placed equals seventh. Four to go, one more lap behind the bike. Bit of a gap opening up between Green and Kelly. As we come down the front straight and get three to go, the bike swings down and Tatarinov leads around the bend, keeping a look over her shoulder and down the back straight. We go up the inside there. Goes Bailey. Bailey having just raced in the Omnium Tempo race and coming second. Very good effort by the Victorian. The riders come around the bend and down the front straight to get the bell. And Kelly starts to come forwards, trying to get around Tatarinov. Tatarinov holding her high though. As the riders make their way around the bend, Tatarinov starts to come forwards. Kelly starting to fatigue and slips back. And Tatarinov takes it out. She, along with Belinda Bailey and Caitlin Kelly, will make their way through to the final. And next to take the track, we have Lucy Hall, Maya Dillon, Mirella Willis-Hell, and Jodie Blackwood. It's going to be Jodie Blackwood leading us onto the wheel of the bike. Maya Dillon after her, followed by Lucy Hall, and then Mirella Willis-Hell at the top. The gun goes. Blackwood really tucked down in a Matt Glaetzer-like position behind the bike. Coming down the front straight. First lap's over, the riders are free to move around. Look over the shoulder, one more lap behind the bike. Blackwood really riding very close to the wheel of the motorbike there. We come down the front straight and the motorbike will come down with 3 laps to go. Over the top there, making her way, is Mirella Willis-Hell. Blackwood holding her up as they come down the back straight. Around the bend now and down the front straight to get 2 to go. A look over the shoulder is Willis-Hell. And down the back straight they go now. The 2 side by side still. Now though, over the top is Maya Dillon. The bell rings. Lucy Hall, sorry. Hall pulling away with quite a gap. Starting to get closed down by Blackwood. And around the bend, down the front straight we come. Hall holds on for first, followed by Blackwood, followed by Dillon. And those 3 will make their way through to the final. Up next to take the boards, we have Jaden Stanton-Keir, Xavier Bland, Wolf Penner, who also raced in the Omnium Tempo, and Liam Ramsey for New Zealand. And we're away. Stanton-Keir making his way onto the wheel of the bike. Down the back straight they all go. And the first lap is over. The riders are free to start to move around. And Penne looking to do just that. Putting Liam Ramsey in a bit of a box. Ramsey maybe now makes his way onto the wheel of Penne as Penne starts to make his way forwards. Xavier Bland trying to keep himself from getting boxed in. Might see a bit of contact in a second as we come down the back straight. Down the front straight now, we're going to get 3 to go and the bike's going to come down. There it goes. Stanton-Keir still leading. They go around the bend. And now down the back straight. Rounding the bank to come down the front straight. No change in position at the moment. Look over the shoulder from Xavier Bland. He realizes he needs to do something soon or it's going to be too late for him. Out of the seat, he's still opting to try to muscle his way out of the box. And actually, as Wolf Penner starts to slip back, that doesn't become the worst idea. The bell rings. Bland holding his ground. Jaden Stanton-Keir still in front, pushing hard at the front. as they come down the back straight. They make their way around the bend. Stanton Keir holding on nicely, and down the front straight they come. Stanton Keir, Bland and Penne will make their way through. Liam Ramsey will come 7th. Hannon takes the bike. On his wheel, possibly Hamish Banks for New Zealand. Behind Banks is Conrad Clark, the New Zealand champion in his jersey. And at the back is Noah Mason. Four to go. And the gap starting to open up between Banks and Hannon in front. We round the bend and come down the front straight to get 3 to go, and the Derny's going to swing down. And the gap closes up. Hannon's still leading. We come down the back straight. Everyone just looking at the rider behind, except for Noah Mason. 2 to go. No changes yet. We are starting to get a bit more speed as we make our way around the bend. It looks like Clark is starting to slip back. The bell rings. Clark may be trying to stop Mason from getting through. Conrad Clark now with a good acceleration down the back straight. He's going to come over the top. Noah Mason trying as well. We're going to be 4 abreast around the bend. Mason with a lot of work to do if he wants to come forwards. And he doesn't get there, so the riders to make their way through will be Wilson Hannon, Hamish Banks and Conrad Clark. And up next we have the elimination for the elite women. After this elimination, we'll do the presentation for the elimination, and then we'll go to a half-hour break. I need to fidget. I'm such a... Yeah, I'm just like... Yeah. Every time I do something I do like it. Oh, it was really, yeah, it was a bit scary. The whistle goes. Round the bend and down the back straight. Our riders with a good bit of speed. They come down the front straight now. The gun's going to go now to start the race. Amelia Sykes in front. Over the top goes Alex Martin Wallace. Martin Wallace putting the pressure on, looking to defend from the front as the bell rings for the first time. Chloe Moran making her way forwards, pulling Ella Sibley with her, as well as Riley McMullen. And our first rider to bite the dust will be Claudia Marks from the ACT. Down the front straight we come, and the bell rings again. McMullen continuing to make her way forwards over the top. Moran just holding her up. Edwards now trying to improve her position, and Ali Anderson looking to follow the wheel of Edwards. And doing so successfully, she takes second wheel. We come down the front straight. And coming forwards now is Sammy Donnelly, pulling Chloe Moran with her again. Our group starting to stretch out. Ella Sibley, the next rider to go. And Sophie Sutton moving up the inside there. The bell rings. Amelia Sykes, the furthest at the back. Sutton, though, might be in a bit of danger because she's put herself in a bit of a box here. Another rider that might be in a bit of danger is Belle Judd from New Zealand. Amelia Sykes having to push forward now as she comes down the front straight. And it is Sophie Sutton who's the next to go. And a bit of a line you can see at the back there. As the bell rings, 3 abreast around the bend, and we start to make our way down the back straight. Riley Riley McMullen trying to make her way forwards again. Sophie Edwards trying to defend at the front. Amelia Sykes has to make her way forwards. It's Alex Martin-Wallace, who's the next rider out. They come around the bend now and down the front straight. And the bell rings. Anderson starts to make her way over the top. Shearman trying to follow. Shearman at the hip. Sykes out of the seat. She's got a lot of work to do, and she's opted for the inside. That could be dangerous, but there's a pretty long line at the back. They'll have to do a lot of effort to get themselves safe, and I think Belle Judd is the next to go. Down the back straight now. Ali Anderson trying to defend her lead. Emily Shearman trying to come forwards. Shearman defending her position too over at the hip. And now she takes the lead actually as the bell rings. Anderson fights for the wheel. Brioni both are trying to come and take the wheel of Shearman maybe. Or at least sit at Shearman's hip. Down the front straight we go, and it looks like Sykes will be the next run out. McMullen over the top. And Anderson just starting to slip to the back there. Sophie Edwards towards the rear as well. The bell rings. Anderson pushing up, trying to improve her position. A rider there also in a bit of danger in the TASC kit. She might need to find somewhere to go. Nicola McDonald too far back. She sits up before the line because she knows it's her that's the next one out. Prudence Fowler at the back there. Chloe Moran. Moran and Shearman both trying to follow the same wheel forwards. Riley McMullen trying to come over the top of both as the bell rings. Moran coming forward. Fowler still in a spot of bother. Fowler trying to take the wheel of Anderson. Anderson in a position that'll be safe this lap, but she is boxed in. Looks like she knows she needs to get out at some point, but she doesn't really have anywhere to go. Prudence Fowler, next rider out. And the bell rings again. Edwards just off the back with a bit of work to do. Chloe Moran also has to move up if she wants to protect herself, and she's going to take the wheel of Edwards as Edward goes over the top. Sammy Donnelly trying to push Edwards high. We come down the front straight. Going to be close on the line. We'll wait to see what the comms say. And Sophie Edwards is the next rider out. Round the bend we come, down the front straight we come, and the bell rings again. Emily Shearman in front, at her hip is Riley McMullen. Ali Anderson in a bit of danger. And another rider in a bit of danger is the New Zealander at the back there, might be Donnelly. It's Jessie Hodges, sorry, who was the next to go. Both are now over the top. Shearman still trying to protect her position. The bell rings. Chloe Moran at the back there with a bit of work to do. Down the back straight. Anderson now looking to maybe slip to the back and come around the outside.